Hey Tubies, it's Psychic Bob. It is so good to be back with you. Well, I'm sitting here this evening just looking at one of my new pieces of jewelry. As many of you know, Psychic Bob is a jewelry collector. I truly am addicted to collecting jewelry. And this is a new little cross that I got. It's done in beautiful little crystals. You guys can see that. It looks like diamonds. It's really pretty. But anyways, I just love it. You know, in the spiritualist movement, at least in the British spiritualist movement, you'll still see in a lot of British spiritualist churches the cross displayed. And it's believed in spiritualism that the cross represents the intersecting of two worlds, the spirit world and the earth world. It doesn't necessarily have the same traditional Christian meaning as it does in the Christian community. It's more of an idea that the spiritual world and the earth world intersect. So that's why a lot of spiritualists you'll see still wearing crosses, and they have crosses in their churches. But anyways, I'm wearing this new cross. How do you like it? What do you think? Does it look nice for Psychic Bob? But anyways, I love my jewelry. I love my crosses and stars and all my fun stuff. And I'm wearing on my lapel my Spiritualist National Union badge. Now, I know that normally on Saturday we do a seance. Psychic Bob has not been feeling good today. I've had a really rough last few days, and I'm just not doing well. So I'm going to take an evening off. I need to recuperate physically and to rest. But I thought it would be nice to spend a few minutes with you and do a little bit of reading, though, from this book, The Philosophy of Spiritualism. This was sent to me by the Spiritualist National Union when I joined. And you notice my pin that I'm wearing, it means I'm a member of the Spiritualist National Union. You can see their seal printed here on this book. There it is. And their seal, it shows the sun rising over the ocean. And it says light, nature, and truth. And then it says Spiritualist National Union. So that's their symbol, which I love. And that's what's on my badge. It's hard to see here, but that's what it is. So, as you know, the last few weeks we've been talking about the 7 principles of spiritualism, according to the SNU, Spiritualist National Union. We abbreviate it as SNU. And so I thought we'd read through again the 7 principles, and tonight we're going to talk about the 3rd principle. But before we get into that, here are the 7 principles of spiritualism. Now, the British version, they don't say the words "we believe." In the American spiritualist church, they say "we believe." Well, they say just list 7 points, but I'm going to put "we believe" in front of them so you kind of get a sense of where this is going, okay? So, number 1, first principle, principle number 1, we believe in the fatherhood of God. Number 2, we believe in the brotherhood of man. Number 3, we believe in the communion of spirits and the ministry of angels. Number 4, we believe in the continuous existence of the human soul. Number 5, we believe in personal responsibility. Number 6, we believe in compensation and retribution hereafter for all the good and evil deeds done on earth. And number 7, we believe in eternal progress open to every human soul. So these are the 7 principles of the SNU that guide the church and the tradition. And so I thought we would read today principle number 3. We believe in the communion of spirits and the ministry of angels. So let's see what this SNU guideline book has to say about the 3rd principle. Okay, there it is. 3rd principle, the communion of spirits and the ministry of angels. Okay. So we'll just start at the beginning and see what it says. It says the communion of spirits. There's a quote here by George F. Berry it starts with. It says, the gift of mediumship are precious possessions and should be acquired, the gifts of mediumship are precious possessions and should be acquired only that life and service may be more fittingly offered to the Lord of life. But if we have the true wisdom, we shall realize that the most perfect gift is to live close to the spirit world and to know and love its messengers so intimately that thought flows from soul to soul, not through the instrumentality of some friendly medium. So what this means is, like, to discover these gifts of mediumship are very valuable. So, all right, let's read what the book says. All right, so it starts off and it says, the third principle of spiritualism is an acknowledgement of the fact that communication with the world beyond our earthly world is possible. This principle confirms that spiritualists know that life is a continuous process, and that when we pass from this world to the next, we will move onward to another sphere of existence. God, in his wisdom, allows communication between this world and the etheric realms, and it must be said that this is not speculation by those who follow spiritualism, but the result of an in-depth investigation over many years. I want to just pause there for a second, because this is one of the things that really drew me to spiritualism. Spiritualism is one of the few religions that don't just say, well, just take it on faith. They actually demonstrate the truths of eternal life. And so when you go to a spiritualist church, you'll encounter during the service mediums who do readings for the audience, who bring forth the proof of the continuity of life after death. I think it's wonderful. All right, so let's continue on it. It says, when considering the word communion, spiritualists use the definition that means sharing, especially of thoughts, feelings, and fellowship. Participation and sharing in common are important in spiritualist philosophy because they encompass the communion we know to be an ongoing process without limitation between the physical world and the spiritual world. In accepting the idea of sharing thoughts and feelings, we can expand this to include the manner in which we share, that is, by the exchange of information. It is this aspect of communion which applies to communication between individual spirits, some of whom inhabit physical bodies and live in earthly conditions, and some of whom do not have physical form and inhabit the ethereal spheres of life. Just as we here on earth vary in our levels of spiritual development, so also are those in the spirit world at different levels of spiritual evolution. So let's just pause there. So what they're trying to say is that these beings that we commune with, some are more enlightened, some are less enlightened. And I think this is an important point because so many people have this false myth that, well, when you die, you go to heaven and you're suddenly an angel and glorious. And that's not really true. Spiritualism says you will attain the level in the spirit world to which you worked at in this life. So a person who spends their life being of service to humanity is going to go to a higher place than somebody who just kind of, got by and took advantage of everybody. Not equal. They're not equal on earth. They will not be equal in spirit. Just as spirit communicators are spiritual beings who do not have a physical body, so we on earth are spiritual beings who do have a physical body. Nevertheless, we and they are all spirit. So the communion of spirits is a true union of spiritual beings. Through spiritual communion, we receive spirit communication, which is the spiritual connection between our spirit helpers, our loved ones who are now in the spirit world, and ourselves. Spirit communication is a wonderful method of connection between the two worlds, uniting those who reside in the realms of spirit with those of us who exist in the physical body. The link allows spirit beings to teach, guide, and give messages of love and support to those with whom they connect in the material world. Communion is linked with the idea of community, and it is with others in the spiritual family that we can share feelings and emotions in communion, whilst communication allows the transmission of ideas, concept, and information. So let's pause there. So what they're saying is that it's not like you die and suddenly transform and become a spirit. All of us here on earth that are walking around these bodies, we're already spiritual beings. We are spirits too. We just have on a physical body. They live in a dimension, where they have an etheric body. And it is the spirit, the divine God, if you will, spirit, they call God spirit in spiritualism, that connects us. I think that's beautiful. So we're going to just leave it there today. I tell you, I'm not feeling that well, so I'm not going to stay on here long. But I wanted to share and just, briefly remind you of the third principle of the spiritualist movement, the communion of spirits and the ministry of angels. Next week, we'll talk more about the ministry of angels. That's another chapter. And we'll talk about what angels are and how they work according to spiritualism. Guys, I'm sorry I'm not doing a seance tonight. I just am not feeling well. I haven't slept for the last 2 days, and I'm feeling somewhat nauseous. So I'm not going to strain my body by trying to go into a trance and raise power tonight. So I hope you understand. But I wanted to spend a few minutes with you and tell you thank you. Thank you for being here. Thanks for being part of my channel. You guys are the best. And welcome to our newbies. If you're new here, welcome to Spiritual. We gather usually every week to do a seance. Tonight's the exception. But next week, hopefully, we'll be back doing good form. We'll finish with some of this third principle, and then we'll have a seance next Saturday night. So I love you guys. I send blessings to you. And we'll be back here. What's tomorrow? Sunday. Oh, that's right. Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, we'll have a live program 7 p.m. tomorrow where I'll do live messages for you guys. If I don't feel well, I'll put out something earlier in the day, but I'm hoping that this is just a temporary exhaustion, a malaise. I'm not sick. I don't have anything like CV or anything like that. So, not to worry. PsychicBob's okay, just a little overtired. You guys are best. We'll see you back here tomorrow. And until then, may all of you always blessed be.